In Streetball, I asked you to send me some questions so that we can answer it in the next episode of ISIAY.
Leave your questions on the comments below, and I'll answer some of them on the next episode of ISIAY.
Alright everyone, welcome back to ISIAY number 5. And the last video actually didn't get us many questions, but you guys definitely delivered on the post that I did. And so if you have any more questions after this episode, feel free to actually ask it. I'll be more than happy to actually answer, as long as it's, not too personal if it is about me. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's questions for ISIAY. So, the first question comes here from Aiden Greyer, who asks, should they add more maps? And in all honesty, in my opinion, I think they should. I think it'll be nice to actually have more, maps for the game, more courts, to just make things a bit more fresh. But, however, that is not the biggest concern right now. So if they decide to update something else other than that, I'll be way more happy. And that's because this game has had a lot of balancing issues lately, especially for newer players. It's just been so unfair how overpowered some characters have been. So instead of new courts, I implore them to just keep on updating these characters to make them more fair. If you haven't been, or if maybe you've been actually aware of other characters or other YouTubers like Team Shinaro or 5SBA, they've actually both haven't uploaded that much, and I think 5 is actually completely quitting the game for now at least. And I don't really blame them. Everything has been so overpowered. It's already hard enough for experienced players, even for pro players. Just imagine how newer players would feel actually going up against these characters, especially Elise and Misaki. I think these two especially, and Rika as well. Elise, Misaki, and Risa. Just imagine how frustrating it'd be trying to block Rika and not getting that block, but then she keeps blocking you. Not escaping Elise's OP defense still. Sure, she's been nerfed, but she still always has way too many dashes available. They really gotta nerf that. But if you think it's bad for experienced players, for pros, think about how bad it actually is for newer players. So, if anything, as much as I'd like new courts, that's the least of our concerns. The real problem right now is just balancing. They need to properly balance these characters. Edward, I don't talk as much about him right now as I did before, but he's still a big problem. He is still a big problem. He is still almost unblockable by any bigs. You're still going to get dunked on even if you're full power Daisuke here and there, which is pretty crazy now if you think about it. But yeah, it's a big problem, and as much as I'd like new courts, I think they should focus on just balancing characters way more at the moment. So thank you very much for that question, Aiden Greyer. So next up, let's move on into question number 2. And our next question comes from Taco, who asks, what would you do in a Howie rework? I've actually said before what I wanted to do on a Howie rework, but here are the things that I want to do. So firstly, I want for the team to make his ability, Dream Shake, actually good. Okay? I want Dream Shake to actually be good. And how would you do that? By making it harder to actually block his layup, and by making every single part of the move layups. If you didn't know, his first and second part of his Dream Shake animation are just normal shots, which not only are easy to block, but also miss way more than his third part, which is, the layup. That is the third part of his Dream Shake. And that doesn't really miss that much. It almost always goes in, but not only are those two shots easy to block, but they also miss a lot. And even then, the layup for his Dream Shake also very easy to block. So it's just not fair for Howie's Dream Shake to be that bad. So first, what I'll do is make it so that all parts of his move for Dream Shake are all just layups, no shots, just layups. And secondly, make it so that it's harder to block than other layups. Make it about as hard to block as, let's say, Natalie. Natalie's layup floater. Make it about as hard to block as that. He is very tall. Sorry, really slow, so he needs to be really good at offense, and his defense is pretty bad too. So yeah, make it hard to block his layups, and make it so that all his animations on his Dream Shake are all layups and not just two shots and one layup at the last fake. Okay, the second one, I want for them to remove Enhanced Dunk since it doesn't actually pair well with his Thunder Dunk. That is not synergy right there. What Enhanced Dunk does is it just makes dunks a little more accurate, but it makes it so that you can dunk from further. But you don't actually want to dunk from far away with Howie because you only activate Thunder Dunk by using a close dunk. So you're making him able to dunk from further, but that means he's not going to activate Thunder Dunk. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. So I want them to remove Enhanced Dunk and replace it with a smart layup or a layup pass. I want them to replace it with a layup pass. Now, why would that be a good idea? That's because, like I said before, he already has the Dream Shake, okay? So Howie can do 3 different variations of layup, and on top of that, if he has layup pass, imagine the amount of playmaking he can do while being a great scorer. He can actually still pass while doing Dream Shake. It's just a good idea. It just is. It makes him way more dangerous. So instead of having Enhanced Dunk, which goes against his Thunder Dunk ability, give him a layup pass, which will make his Dream Shake ability, his improved version again, make it all layups, his improved Dream Shake even better by giving him a layup pass so that he can just pass it if the defender is really good at actually blocking his layups. I think that's only fair. It's going to make Howie such a great scorer and a great playmaker. But that's not only it, right? So his third skill is grabbing block, and that would have been fine if it weren't for the fact that his blocking range is so pitiful. It is worse than Daisuke, and it's actually about as bad as Daisuke's before Daisuke's was actually fixed. So they fixed Daisuke's blocking range, but not Howie's? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Howie doesn't actually have a great blocking range. It's just unfair. It's about as bad as Daisuke's before, so I want them to fix his blocking range and make it as good as as Daisuke's, so his grabbing block can actually be useful. I don't want it removed. I think it is good to actually have that skill. Just make it so that his blocking range in particular actually becomes useful by giving him a better block range, about as good as Daisuke's, since you fixed Daisuke's, fix Howie's. Make it about as good as what Daisuke's is right now. And lastly, with Thunder Dunk, I want it to be like this instead. Give Howie 700, 800, 900 power when Thunder Dunk activates, but make it so that it actually decreases his dunk by 60% accuracy or something like that, right? Make it an Ox ability instead with cooldown. At the very least, if it's like that, it's going to be very, very hard to actually sink it in, but it's actually going to be unstoppable. You can't block it with any character, but it still has cooldown if it's on Ox, you know? So it's like a literally unstoppable dunk, while also being not too overpowered, since it has a timer. It has a timer, and again, accuracy wise, 40%, not really that good, right? So yeah, that's what I would do to Thunder Dunk as well. Overall, Howie just needs massive buffs. He is the worst center in the entire game. It's just unfair. So, you know, let's hope the devs buff Howie, and that is personally how I would rework Howie. Literally buff his entire set and replace some of his skills with other skills. So yeah, thank you very much for that question, Taco. And let's go ahead and get into our next question. And our next question here is from Elmer Blake Moore, More IV, or More the Fort, maybe. Either way, he asks, what are your tips for Martin? I peeked at Crystal and can't seem to figure out how to use triple threat the best and get instant step backs and other tricks. I'm not really quite sure what triple threat is, but there isn't really instant step back either. You just really have to master using Martin's jab step. You're just gonna have to actually train with him on the training training mode. It's very useful since it does really help you out, and you can do jab steps, practice a sprint dunk there. I don't really have any tips for Martin other than don't just rely on your sprint dunk. That's your main attacking move, sure, but you have pull up and you have jab steps, so you gotta rely on those abilities as well. Don't just rely on your sprint dunk. That's going to be my main tip for you, my main advice. Don't just rely on your sprint dunk, but also don't be afraid to use sprint dunk. And really, that's it. Otherwise, you just have to keep on training with Martin, and playing on training mode will definitely help out with that, especially with, dribbling and such. It's definitely going to help you out. So just keep using him on training, and you should be all good. You're going to get better with Martin as long as you keep using him. So thank you very much for that, Elmer. And let's go ahead and get into our next question. So our next question here is from Ikata-san, who tells us, bro, tell us top 3 for each position according to you. Number 1, big. Number 2, non-diver. Maybe a pointer, we'll just talk about a scorer there. And number 3, diver. Also, I'm curious about what people ban outside of my own game this season. For me, it's Masaki, Elise, Emily, Robbie, sometimes Rika. And a little extra here is, and Becky. I forgot about her. So, let's answer this one by one. Firstly, tell us top 3 of each position according to you. So at number 1, big. Now, in rebounding, Vanessa is still the top, okay? Nobody still beats Vanessa. Not Rocket, not Robbie. Nobody beats Vanessa when it comes to actually rebounding. However, rebounding is not just like the game is just not about rebounding, right? It's about everything at this point. And Robbie You know, I hate him, guys. You've known this for a long time. I hate him. I hate his design. I hate how overpowered he is. But in all honesty, you might be surprised when I say that I don't think Robbie is actually the most overpowered big right now. In my opinion, the most overpowered big in the moment is actually Elise. Now, yes, I've said it in a post, right, that Elise actually was buffed or nerfed, and she was nerfed, but it's not even near enough. The nerf they gave her is not even near enough. She is still so overpowered. She's still so OP on defense because her blocking range is insane. She can block Havoc and Silverwolf's hook shot from so long. So long. And not only that, this is the real problem, she can keep dashing still. So what if you nerf her blocking range a little bit, and I mean a little bit, when she can still just dash pretty much every other, I think about 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds she can dash properly. Even 10 seconds would be unfair. Unless they nerf Elise and make it so that she's limited to 1 dash per 15 seconds, or somewhere near that mark, she's going to remain to be one of the most overpowered bigs in the game, because it's just almost impossible to score as a mid-range or 3-point shooter when she's on the court. It's going to be a real headache to actually try and block or try to actually score against her, since her defense is so overpowered. So yeah, number 1 there in big, I'd say Elise is the most overpowered. And the number 2 for scorer, I'd actually say that sure, Zachary, very overpowered with Robbie. Sure, Misaki, very overpowered when your enemy doesn't know how to defend her, or just if the big or the scorer doesn't know how to defend her. Even if, let's say, the scorer knew how to defend her, if the big enemy doesn't know how to defend Misaki, you're still going to be very much deadly. That's how deadly Misaki is. All players on the team need to know how to defend her properly. That's just not fair. But yeah, let's say even if Misaki can do that, in my opinion, the most OP scorer still in the entire game is still Rika. It still is Rika in my opinion, and the reason is her defense is still so overpowered. She is such an overpowered defender. If you know what you're doing with Rika, you can shut down any shooting guards in the entire game pretty much solo, as long as they're not getting screened. That's how overpowered she is on defense. And to top it all off, as a scorer, she's also pretty overpowered. So, you know, yeah, she's still not fixed. She's still not nerfed properly. And, you know, that's sad, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, who is the most overpowered scorer in the moment. It's going to be Rika. It is Rika. And lastly, as a diver, it's Becky. It's definitely Becky. It's not even close. But if we were to take a second option, if Becky's banned, then you're purely there for rebounding. Purely rebounding. Then I have to say it's going to be Yui. And Yui, she's pretty limited on her skill set, but diving wise, she actually does have the best dive set out there other than Becky, since her dive height is actually so big. The problem is you're going to have to be really good at actually diving with her. There's a chance that if your enemy point guard, or if you actually mistime your dive, your enemy point guard is going to get a wide open tree. So yeah, if you do know what you're doing with her though, Yui is the second best diver in the game, aside from Becky. And lastly, my personal banning list. It's actually pretty similar to yours. Okay, so my team. Okay, this I have a different banning list, and for my team as well, they have a banning list when I'm playing with them, and it's pretty similar. Elise, Robbie, and Misaki, they really like banning those guys, and Becky as well. And other than that, they do ban Rika or Robbie as well. So those are their personal banning list. But personally, my number one priority when banning is actually going to be Rika first. See, the banning process, it's actually very complicated as well. A lot of people just seem to ban Misaki instantly, right? The thing is, the order you ban characters is actually really important. I don't think it's being talked about enough. Like, banning characters this much or on this order, it does actually really matter. Let me give you an example. A lot of my teammates, they ban Misaki quickly, and I keep scolding them for it. They still do it, but why do I scold them for banning Misaki? She is overpowered. They do struggle with defending her well. That's because a lot of other people already want to ban Misaki. So why not let them ban Misaki for us? And then we can ban another character like Rika or Elise. We can ban those guys instead of wasting our ban on Misaki, which they will already ban anyway, right? So, yeah, guys, make sure that if you're banning, you don't ban a character that very likely is going to be banned anyway by the enemy team. It is important. That is actually very, very important. But yeah, my personal list is going to be Rika as a priority since Elise, Robbie, and Misaki are all very likely going to be banned anyways. That's why I tend to ban the overpowered characters that don't get banned as much first. Characters like Rika, characters like Alto if needed, or Zachary, characters like them. I ban them first since Misaki and Robbie, Elise, they keep getting banned quickly anyway. Let the enemy ban them for us first, and then we actually go and ban them if they don't get banned. We're gonna ban Elise or Misaki if they don't get banned. But if they do get banned, well, great. Now we have an extra ban opportunity. So yeah, that's my personal banning list. And guys, again, what I'm saying is the truth here. Make sure that you ban first those guys that keep getting banned in the first place anyway. Again, Elise, Misaki, don't ban them because most of the guys you're gonna fight is going to ban them anyway. They're gonna ban Misaki anyway, so don't waste your ban on her, and so on. So yeah, thank you very much for that question, iCat-san. Alright, so our next question here comes from John Day Valcorza, who asks, bro, can you organize a tournament for C server players? No, I cannot do that. I'm not really good with organizing tournaments. It's not really my forte. In fact, I haven't even really participated in a tournament before, not even once. And I'm not really good at leading things. No, I don't know anything about organizing tournaments, and really, I can't be bothered. I'm not really that sort of guy to make tournaments. So I'm sorry, but no. The answer is no. I can't and I won't organize any tournaments for Southeast Asian players. However, I will keep making more helpful videos, so be sure to actually, keep watching if you are into those. Thank you very much still, though, for that question, John De Wilcorsa. But yeah, no, I'm not going to be organizing anything. So let's go ahead and get into our last question for this ISIAY. So our last question here comes from Kenny Rogers again, who asks, even though you hate Silver Wolf, I do hate him. So even though you hate Silver Wolf, I just want to ask your opinion on what do you think the best effects and talents for him. I tried assassin effects, but you have to put assist characters that has close shot stats and mostly SF for the centers, not SG, so no added 3-point and speed stats, so I find it hard to score now that there is at least other characters who can easily block close shots even with assassin effects. I became slower and my fadeaway 3-pointers misses a lot now, so I'm confused on how to make Silver Wolf viable again. Thank you in advance, lots. Alright, so let's go ahead and answer those questions one by one. So firstly, yes, I do hate Silver Wolf. It's not a question, but I just want to alert you guys. Yes, I do hate Silver Wolf. So, the first question here is, what would be the best effects for him? And in all honesty, when talents first appeared, I really thought Assassin would be the best for Silver Wolf as well. But I have realized, no, it's not. It's not the best effects for him, since Assassin itself not really all that useful. You'd think it'd make blocking layups a lot harder, right? No, not really. Unless they make it, I don't know, something like 25 or 30% faster when you get outstanding. I don't think it's really going to be that useful. So no, I don't think giving Silver Wolf the, I don't think giving him Assassin is actually a good idea. Instead, I think giving Silver Wolf the affix Sniper is going to be way more beneficial. As I've said before, Max Block Rangers and Altos weaknesses are actually Sniper. Even if you can block from far away, if they have a Sniper, you're going to have to be a little bit more closer than some other characters. And yeah, that definitely makes it so that you're still gonna get a tree, even if usually for Max Block Ranger that would be a block. It's still just going to go through and it's going to be wide open, since you're blocking from so far as Max Block Ranger. And Ranger does actually counter Silver Wolf, so this is definitely useful information right here. Sniper definitely should have on your Silver Wolf, and for all SGs in that matter. Sniper is just way too important. So make sure to get Sniper fix. Secondly, the other needed fix, in my opinion, if you have a blue set, this is all you can get, but this is the second most important one. It's going to be Tough Guy. Tough Guy is so important. It just makes it so that you can actually help against dunkers, even if you're a shooting guard, which have no chance of blocking them. Make sure to get the Tough Guy fix, because it really is one of the most important fixes in the entire game. Makes you really, really effective against dunkers. Even if you can't block them, you can still make contact and just make them miss. So it's just really important, so you have to make sure to get Tough Guy as well. But if you have purple set and you do have a space for another fix, I'd say it's a toss-up between Chatterbox and Gunman. Chatterbox, its benefits are pretty much out there in the air. It makes it so your enemies miss if you contest their shots if you're down. And that's just really useful altogether for any character. So that's why I say that this is, the best or the best third option for Silver Wolf. Or, again, it's a toss-up, so there's also Gunman. The only real reason why I said that, Gunman is actually a good third option as well is because of his hookshot. See, hookshot is a pretty slow mid-range ability, but it's very hard to block, and making it a bit faster is definitely going to be useful. And it's not just that that's going to be improved, it's his random pull-ups as well, right? So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good third option along with Chatterbox for Silver Wolf if you do have 3 available slots. If you have 2 though, it's going to be for Sniper and Tough Guy. Those 2 are just way too important for Silver Wolf not to have, or for any shooting guard for that matter. I recommend this, Sniper and Tough Guy, for any shooting guard. That is going to be what you want to actually focus on. And with talents, I'd say you're better off focusing on actually getting either contest experts, that's contesting dunks, and if you contest a dunk, this is for level 3 anyway, you're gonna get 7% extra accuracy decrease, so that's really good. So it's really good for, again, defending dunkers. And also, I'd say interference expert is pretty good. It's pretty much the same except for interference. So at level 3, you're gonna get 7% accuracy decrease for the opponent if you actually contest their shots. So it's really, really good, those 2. I'm all for defense, and I think that these 2 talents are the best for all shooting guards. Not any offensive, just get these. It's very useful since you don't have a pull-up, so precision expert isn't for you, and you don't need any extra close shot anyway. Silver Wolf barely misses from or his smart layups, right? So you're not really gonna need any extra accuracy for that anyway. But those are the talents or the best affixes that I think you can give these guys. And that's true as well. In my opinion, right now, Silver Wolf is not the most overpowered character in the game anymore. That's actually been the case for a long time now, especially after Elise released. Actually, after Elise was released is when Silver Wolf became became not the most OP character in the game anymore. It's just Elise's defense shuts down Silver Wolf so hard, and Alto with more block right now shuts him down very well as well. Emily shuts him down very well, and so Silver Wolf definitely still very powerful. I'm not saying he's not overpowered, but compared to other characters, they're definitely more overpowered than him right now. While we're talking about affixes, did you guys know that the Swiftfoot affix on Outstanding only gives 5% extra speed? Not even 10. 5. I thought it was 10. It was actually 5. Do you know what that means? That means if your character has 150, or let's say 160, to make it easier for us, you're not gonna get 16 extra speed like I thought. You're gonna get 8. 8. That's barely anything. So, guys, devs, please make it so that Swiftfoot actually adds 10% speed though, not 5 if you get outstanding. It's just unfair. Make sure that the characters who have Swiftfoot gets 10% more speed, not 5. 5 doesn't do anything. 5% does not do anything. An extra 8 speed does not do anything. Please, you gotta make it 10% instead. Just imagine how much better Jessica or some other characters would be with that, you know, Mary. Imagine how much more deadlier Dora can be. Make sure to max out that, please, devs. Come on now, make Swiftfoot 10% faster, or 5% faster in this case, I guess. Make it 10%, okay? Not 5%. That's not good enough. But yeah, thank you so much for the questions again, guys. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me down below in the comments, or in another post that I'll make in about a month from now. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it's been helpful. I hope that it's been entertaining. And I'll catch you on the next one.